Hey everybody, what I've got here is the new Lionel Trippy Trolley. As you can see, it's pretty darn cool, and we're going to check it out right now on Eric's Trains. So yeah, the Trippy Trolley from Lionel. How cool is this thing? So Lionel offered this in their 2022 Volume 1 catalog, and these began showing up a few months ago here in 2022. And it's a variation of Lionel's tried and true bump and go trolley. So very simple operation, no digital command control or sound effects or anything like that. It's pure conventional. If you put it on a loop of track, it'll just keep going in the loop over and over. Or if you put it on a straight length of track with a track bumper at each end, when it gets to each end, it hits the track bumper, it'll knock the bumper here, and that'll activate the reversing unit and send it in the other direction. And then when it gets to the other side, it hits that bumper. Let me do a basic demonstration of that and you'll see what I mean. So I've got it in that neutral mode right now, but if you bump it, that's normal operation. Just back and forth. And then to get it back in that neutral mode that I was talking about, you just sort of have to hold it still and lightly tap that bumper and it'll stand still like that. So yeah, totally cool, totally cute. You know, apparently this was the brainchild of one of the employees at Lionel. They just sort of said, hey, let's do a hippified trolley, and they did it. And apparently it's been pretty successful. They've sold quite a few of these, and I can see why. I mean, what's not to like about this thing? I got this when I was visiting Lionel up in Concord. We went over to the Lionel store at Concord Mills Mall. The retail was $130. They were selling it for $110, I believe. So not a bad deal. I had this kind of on my mind before I went to the store, and then of course when I saw it I had to have it. And I was there with Chris from RBP Trains, and he got one as well. So you've got a headlight at each end, you've got these decorative pantographs at the top. They're metal and they're sprung. And then you've got a very simple DC can motor mechanism at the bottom. There are color changing LEDs on the inside that you saw in the intro, and then there are 6 flashing LEDs on the underside. And then there's those bumpers that cause it to change direction. You can see they got that great hippified paint scheme on the outside. If you look at the number boards, I'm not sure if you can read that from this angle, but it says far out. And then they've got the silhouettes on the inside, but instead of the normal passenger silhouettes like you'd see on any other bump and go trolley, they've got these hippie figures going on. There's a disco ball, there's another disco ball on the front. The trolley driver's having a fun time, and everybody's just partying down. So, very cool. I do want to show you the inside of this thing real quick because it's actually pretty interesting. So there are 2 screws that you have to remove to get to the inside. One over here and one down in this corner. And it opens up like that. And that's what it looks like on the inside. And you can see they've got some adhesive LEDs attached to the underside of the roof, and that's where the lighting comes from. Now, what's cool about this is that Lionel didn't reinvent the wheel when it came to putting some flashing LEDs inside this trolley. There's no need to, because there's lots of off-the-shelf flashing LED solutions already on the market, and so all they did was have the factory install one of those off-the-shelf LED systems. So you can see here we've got 3 buttons that allow us to modify how the LEDs operate. And by the way, this stuff is not mentioned in the instruction manual that comes with the trolley, so I don't think Lionel really intends for people to modify it, but you can if you just undo those 2 screws and pop the top. So the first button here controls the lighting mode. You can do various flashing modes and various steady modes. Then you've got the speed button that controls how fast the lights fluctuate. And then you've got a color button where you can select a fixed color. So let's play around with this for a minute and see what we can do. I've dimmed the room lights a little bit to make it a little easier to see the lighting. And by the way, if you're sensitive to flashing lights, you might want to skip this section of the video because it's going to get pretty intense. So first up, let's check out the different modes. There's a whole bunch of different modes, but I'm going to try to go through some of the more obvious ones. And there's one of these that's kind of seizure-inducing. So again, if you're sensitive, look away now. These are kind of set colors. Oh, where is it? There it is. I think it might even get faster than that. So you can see they've got all sorts of different modes on this thing. And I don't know how many modes there are, but there's quite a few. So here we are back to where we started, I think. And now we can change the speed at which this fluctuates. So here's a nice slow roll. Getting pretty slow here. I kind of like that. The real slow change. I think there's 10 levels. Yeah, and here we are at the start again. So that's a pretty fast one. I think number 2 is the default that it came with. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so I think there's 9 or 10 of them. They're pretty cool. And then the color button, you can just do a single color if you want. Pretty cool. Or should I say pretty trippy. If you do a single color like this, then this button controls the brightness. I think there's 8 brightness levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. And then we can change the mode again. So that's a real fast flash there. You know what? I'm going to count and see how many modes there are. So let me get back to the start. Okay, there's that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo! Seizures. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and we're back to the start. So I think there's 12 different modes, if I'm not mistaken. Very cool. And yeah, like I said, some of these are kind of seizure-inducing when we get up in here. Where are those? Yeah, got to be careful about this one. They should call it the seizure trolley. And there we are. Back to the start. So yeah, pretty cool. And again, it just makes sense to use an off-the-shelf LED solution. There's no reason to invent your own when there are plenty of good ones on the market already. And it's probably more cost-effective as well. But yeah, now you know the secret way to edit the LED modes on the Trippy Trolley if you so desire. So let's get this on the track and run it around for a minute. Alright, so there you have it, the Lionel Trippy Trolley. This thing is just super cool and so much fun. If you'd like to pick one of these up, the retail price is right at $130. Although if you go through a good Lionel dealer, you should be able to get a bit of a discount off that retail price. And as always, if you're looking for a good Lionel dealer, try my favorite train store, which is Legacy Station. You can find them on the web at legacystation.com or give them a call at 770-339-7780. If you'd like to support this channel, I would greatly appreciate it. That can be done through Patreon at patreon.com/ericstrains. Patreon supporters get all sorts of perks and benefits, and you can read about those benefits on my Patreon page. I'd like to put a big thank you out there to all of my current Patreon supporters. Your support means the world, not only to me, but to the future of this channel. And a super extra big thank you goes out to my premium tier Patreon supporters. You'll see their names at the end of this video. And lastly, if you'd like to buy an Eric's Trains t-shirt or anything else I might be selling, check out the Eric's Trains online store at ericstrains.com/store. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm Eric Siegel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.